Hi, my name is Micallef, and over the past 2 months, I had the incredible opportunity to intern with UNC Chapel Hill's football team within their recruiting and personnel department. This internship gave me a great behind-the-scenes look at how a Power 5 football program operates on its personnel side during the summer. Within college football, player personnel is the heartbeat of the roster building, and it can be broken down into 3 areas. First is recruiting. That is the goal to bring in the right talent, whether it's through high school recruiting or the transfer portal. It's not just who's athletically built and ready, but it's who's culturally and systematically ready to be placed into the system. Second is roster management. It's more than just who's on the team. It's knowing how many players you have by position in class year, who's going out, who might come in, who might go pro, and how they impact roster decisions and recruiting decisions throughout the school year, even during the summer. And third, scouting and film evaluation. Kind of combined. This is where the grind happens, being able to understand the strengths and weaknesses of thousands of players, gathering verified measurements, and grading athletes based on different skills that they have. Whether it was huddle highlights, 7-on-7 tapes, or even spring practice, it all matters for projecting a player's future within scouting and film. You might be asking, why does watching film even matter? Well, film kind of tells the stories behind the stats. First, it shows the traits you cannot measure on paper, like effort, football IQ, and even body control. Depending on the position, it also depends for a lot of things. But second, it helps determine a scheme fit. If you can see if a player will fit in your different coverage zones, or even things like an up-tempo offense and how the player might evaluate compared to other teams. Third, kind of want to combine with the measurement, character, and academic info. Film builds a whole complete and accurate evaluation. Finally, it helps track a player's growth. It can show how they've grown from their sophomore year all the way to the senior year, showing how they've grown physically, but also mentally, maturely, and how they can be able, who's coachable and able to grow in improvement down the road and possibly become a pro. What I've learned in personnel so far is not has just showed me how to watch film, but it's watch it with a purpose, not just looking for those highlight moments, but breaking down what others might not see. It could be their weaknesses without overjudging them. I saw during even the off season, personnel never stops. We evaluated over 600 high schoolers, and that takes a lot of time and incredible attention to detail. Lastly, I learned that personnel isn't an isolated role. We work with coaches, prospects, player hosts, and operations, and even helped with setting up different official visits for recruits and many of their families and friends. It's a pretty busy role, but it is definitely worth it at the end of the day. Throughout the last 2 months, I've decided to take away some keys for success, and I feel like these would stand out the most. 1, being communication. Always being clear, effective, and professional with all the coaches and staff. Being able to let them know with different times of when people would arrive or even when they would want things done and finished. And also just overall being organized, which was my second key takeaway. Detail-oriented. Everything from a prospect's name, spelling, to the film labeling, to the measurements, to their heights, to their weight. Everything has to be clear, concise, and precise. Finally, I would say humble and curiosity. You want to always be open to learning, asking questions, and always getting better, and knowing who you're working with. You don't want to be the big dog in the room all the time, but there are definitely some times where you can be. Even though I said lastly, relationship building is a big thing. Even building relationships with recruits to other teammates that I've worked with, being able to create that strong network is everything in this industry, I believe. I think for improvement within film studying personnel would definitely be having more structured feedback from coaches and staff. Something like a scouting camp or maybe a review session would have helped me out a lot better to kind of understand what coaches are looking for specifically in different position groups. I would also suggest using a standardizing grade system, maybe from A+ to C- to help evaluate players across the board. Just would make it easier to stack prospects on a board and know kind of where everybody stands. But overall, I thought they did a great job with helping us. I might even throw in there the fact to possibly add in different position groups assigned to different people. I really enjoyed watching a lot of running backs and found a really deep passion and understanding for them as time went on, as I continuously kept watching them, even though I wasn't constantly assigned to them. Last but not least, this internship has given me a real world insight into behind the scenes of the college world of football. The details, the decision, it's a constant grind. The days would be long, the weekends would be filled with activities, but the ones that you want to kind of be around, just fun things. I also learned how important film is in driving recruits and roster decision and how much coordination it will take to build a successful program. It's not just like the saying, Rome was not just built in one day. It took days, months, years. Also, I want to give a lot of gratitude to some people. First off, I want to thank Professor McDonald for his support, but also his acceptance to allowing me to do this internship and approval, as well as the entire UNC football personnel staff, ranging from Corey Giddens, Andrew Blaylock, Joe Annell. I want to appreciate them for welcoming me, but also giving me the tools to succeed and always believing me since day one. I'm incredibly grateful for this opportunity, and I'm so excited to see what happens to keep learning and growing in this field of football operations and recruiting. Thank you.